Hey, what's up, dudes? How's the sound on this? It's been a while since I streamed. The last time that I streamed was back in August, like, so it's been a few months. I had to, like, reconfigure everything on my laptop. So let me know if the sound is okay, if you guys can hear the background music and my voice and everything. Yeah, so this is the day after I was banned from Temple of TCAP for some bullshit. I guess the official reason that Tick said was that I was being quarrelsome. So I'm not encouraging anyone to shitpost on Temple of TCAP, but I think if you use the word quarrelsome in any way, it would be pretty funny. Like, it almost made me want to change my name to Quarrelsome Edward. So let's see, let's get into it. So yeah, 15K, it's pretty wild. I'm super grateful to everyone who's subscribed. When I first made this channel, I didn't even think that like 100 people would be into it. Like, it was still like really small before quarantine. I think quarantine saw a lot of people get into TCAP. Like, quarantine was the reason that a lot of people kind of rediscovered the infinite well of humor that is TCAP content. And yeah, the first channel that I ever made was, I think, a little over or a little under 2 years ago, and it was banned by Chris Hansen back when he did his bullshit. So it's pretty wild that, like, I remade the channel immediately after I was banned from YouTube the first time, and then here, like, not even 2 years later, and we're at 15K. And I'm really grateful. I'm really appreciative to everyone who's subscribed and who's liked and who's interacted with the content. One of the things that I wanted to do was to just say whatever the fuck I wanted, and people criticize, and like, that's fine. I'm perfectly fine with being criticized. I make it a point to not delete comments. I think I've deleted one comment from some fucking creep who was just being a creep, like, in general. But other than that, I think it's pretty awesome if a person's comment section is just a cesspool. I think it makes things interesting. It's like, you never know what you're gonna see. So yeah, let's get into it. Real Life Doomer asked, what's wrong with asking questions? Funny you say that, because it seems like that was the reason that I was banned from Temple of TCAP, because Tix gave a pretty vague warning, and I was like, hey, is your warning directed towards me? Got no answer. And then I asked again, and I was like, hey, dude, so is your warning directed towards me? And then I was basically banned. He said the official reason was that I was feeding a troll and being quarrelsome. And it's pretty funny because, like, I was interacting with a troll, with a shitposting, a racist gamer word dropping shitposting troll on Temple of TCAP. But I was mainly doing that just to get information from the troll. And when I was doing it, no one said shit. So it's pretty funny that the official reason for my getting banned from Temple of TCAP, Tix didn't say a fucking word when it was happening, and he only brings it up like a week after the fact. That was like a week ago. Yeah, the comments are moving pretty quick. Like, it's gonna be really hard to try and read everything. One that jumps out from Justin Strong: Eddie, I literally love your channel, and even if we agree even if we politically disagree, you're an intelligent, awesome dude. Well, thank you, dude. I think one of the beauties of life is that there's so many different people with so many different perspectives. If everyone thought the same, and if everyone just fucking didn't escape their comfort zone, I think the world would be an incredibly boring place. So yeah, I appreciate it, man. I think that talking with people who have different opinions and talking with people who have different perspectives, it's like one of the coolest things about the world. So let's see. Yeah, now time to actually get into some of the questions. You can still comment, like I'm doing this live obviously, so if you comment on this post that I made on my community tab, I'll probably be able to get to it faster than reading chat. So another one, are you satisfied with the quality of Folgers coffee? Surprisingly, yes. I got a big thing of Costco Folgers coffee, and I was actually shocked at how delicious it was. I love caffeine. I'm a caffeine addict, so caffeine is necessary for my life. And yeah, Folgers coffee is pretty good caffeine. It's pretty good coffee. Quantum Surge asked, 1, how fast are you? Fast enough. 2, would you make an animated Chris Hansen show? I guess. I would lend my voice maybe. I don't think I would go through the trouble of animating it, but yeah, sure, I guess. And then 3, what if Chris Hansen hunted every single politician across the world? Well, then he'd be pretty fucking busy. I think obviously there are a lot of people who are politicians who abuse their power, sometimes in the most sickening ways, doing shit that's like TCAP level. If Chris Hansen were to expose any politician who is doing something like that, I think it'd be great. But I think that we should also try and remember that Chris Hansen has a habit of overinflating his importance and for making it seem like he's the one who's doing all the work, right? Like, I've seen a lot of people talk about even the name of his podcast, Predators I've Caught. Like, dude, really? Perverted Justice, the organization who was doing this before Chris Hansen, behind the scenes, they're the ones putting in the groundwork. Like, they're the ones who are chatting with the Predators. To my knowledge, Chris Hansen has never even got behind a computer and like chatted with anyone. Although it'd be pretty interesting if he did. I think if Hansen wanted to like bring some new life into his show, he should be the one doing some decoy work. That would be pretty hilarious. I think that would add a whole nother layer of humor to it. And then finally, how about a glass of milk to go with those cookies? Quantum Surge, this dude actually released a pretty cool video. I watched it right here. It's this one, this TCAP Donald Morrison one. It was pretty funny. I like too that it was like a different format. Instead of just playing the video and like commenting like most of us do, it was just these two dudes who were kind of like talking about it after the fact. It was chill. I liked it. I liked that it was kind of a change of pace. Raw, what's that? No, seriously, my question would be, do your friends and family know about your YouTube channel and the contents thereof? Some do. I've told my mom. I've told a few people that I know, like a few of my friends know. My girlfriend obviously knows. But no, I don't show my face, and like I haven't gone like on my own personal Facebook account and like let everyone know that I'm Fast Eddie. I think that a lot of people who know me in my personal life would not be surprised though. I'm kind of waiting for someone to like message me, like someone from Facebook or something to like message me and be like, hey, are you this guy? I don't know what I'll say. I think it depends on who the person is to see whether I would actually just like admit to it or not. Oh shit, we have 75 people in chat. Hey. Yeah, this chat is pretty gnarly. There's a lot of stuff going on. Oh, conscious type person. Hey, what's up, fellow law person? A law student. Another good question. Ever experimented with psychedelics? P.S. Will we ever see a Rolando Rescue analysis? Yeah, we could. The only, like, back when I first started making these videos, I would basically just get super, well, I've pretty much been high during every video that I've made, but back when I first started making videos, like, I would just get mega high, like, not do any research, and then just, like, talk shit. It's really difficult now for me to make a video. I feel like I've tried to increase the production value of the videos that I upload. Like, I try to make sure that the sound is much better, and I try to put in these like snappy kind of introductions and like different editing techniques. So it's a little bit more, it's a lot more time consuming and kind of more stressful to make videos now, just because I feel like I can't let the quality decline, you know. I think it'd be kind of a shame if I just started like producing shitty videos. So yeah, I would do a Rolando Resta Cruz video, but it's hard to decide who I'm gonna do a video on. Like it's kind of a serious time commitment at this point, you know. Like I spend hours doing research, and then I'll like have to record it, and then I'll have to go through and edit it. So I don't know, maybe I'll do another poll or something to see who I should analyze next. Or you guys could just like comment here, and like whatever one has a lot of likes or something, that would be a good way to let me know whether I should do that person or not. Pure Lemons asked, what are your thoughts on people who think TCAP is unjust and who victimize the scummy pedos? I had heard once that one of the guys they caught offed himself. Curious what you think. Funny you mentioned that. The guy who offed himself was named Louis Conrad, and he was an assistant district attorney. This guy was a prosecutor. He was the person who showed up in court, pointed his finger at suspects, and then told them what their sentence was going to be. He was the guy who was, his job was convicting criminals. So it's kind of, I guess, unsurprising that this kind of person, just because of the irony of the situation, that a fucking prosecutor was the person who was getting caught. Yeah, he killed himself. I think the world's a better place without him. I think that I'm not surprised that it had the impact that it had on the show. I think that was one of Louis Conrad's death, this guy killing himself because of TCAP. I think that was one of the biggest reasons why TCAP stopped airing, right? Because it was a cash cow. I mean, people loved it back in the day, and they still love it. And it had to take some serious incident like this to frighten NBC enough to have him back off. But yeah, I think the world's a better place without him. I think that it's especially shameful for anybody who's in law enforcement, or anybody who is anybody who is a politician or in law enforcement, someone who has to make their morality something that's a part of their job. You know, if your job is to like enforce the law and you violate the law in such a serious and grievous way, I think it's extra scummy of you. So I think that, yeah, he's a piece of shit. How do you know body language so well? I don't really think that I know body language like that well. Like I've gotten into it before. My undergraduate degree, my bachelor's degree, is in communication studies, which is basically like applied psychology. It's just the way that people interact with each other, and like the kind of psychological and physical processes that go along with it. So yeah, it'd probably be that. This is what I studied in school. My associate's degree and my bachelor's degree are both in communication studies. And then apart from that, another person, like it's a good segue into this question actually, but I was in speech and debate for a few years in junior college, and I became really aware of my body language as a speech and debate competitor. I mean, you are literally judged in speech and debate for everything. And like I remember in one of, well, I'll get into it better. I'll just jump into it. I remember in a video that you said you used to be a competitive speaker or debater, something along those lines. What would you recommend to somebody that's interested into getting into something like that as study material or a starter course primer? Yeah, if you want to be if you have any interest in speech and debate, I strongly recommend that you pursue it. Like, I don't know if you're in college or whatever, but speech and debate was life-changing. It was life-changing for me, and it was life-changing in all the best positive ways that it could be. It taught me to work hard, and it taught me to, I think that it gave me the kind of patience that I use when I'm editing videos and when I'm recording. Like the idea of just researching and of like working towards a performance. The videos that I record are more like performances than anything else. Like I don't script anything out. I didn't script this out. I kind of just like go with the flow. So yeah, if you want to, it depends on what you want to do. If you want to be a debater, I think that obviously competitive speaking encompasses debate, but there are some elements of competitive speaking that aren't debate, where it's like just being funny or just making speeches up off the top of your head. So I think that it depends on what you wanted to pursue. If you want to be a debater, it might be helpful to like watch presidential debates just to get kind of like the just to get like the delivery aspect of it. And then if you wanted to actually like figure out how to debate, I would look up Intelligence Squared from I forget who releases it, but Intelligence Squared is a really good debate series that I used to watch years ago. Before I was a competitive, like before I was doing debate, like competing and traveling the state, I was really into listening to Intelligence Squared debates, and that was a great starting place for me. So yeah, dude, do it. Strongly recommend that you pursue competitive speech and debate, and you could also get some really good scholarships, and your hard work will pay off. How do you feel about Chris Hansen's recent behavior? I have mixed feelings about Hansen. Like, obviously, Hansen is one of the major reasons that we have TCAP. I mean, I don't think that TCAP could even have existed without Chris Hansen. And that's not to say that he's the most important part of To Catch a Predator, or of Hansen versus Predator, but it's not to say that he's the most integral part, but he's certainly a necessary part. Although it's kind of disappointing. I guess I'm kind of disappointed with Chris Hansen's recent behavior, that he's releasing this podcast, Predators I've Caught, kind of like taking away some of the hard work that others gave, and then just basically saying that like he's the one who did everything. So I don't know. I have mixed feelings about Hansen. Although I just watched, or I just listened to rather, Joey TCAP's appearance on the Chris Hansen's Predators I've Caught podcast, and it was awesome. I recommend everyone listen to that. Joey TCAP is like an awesome figure in the TCAP community who's provided us with a huge amount of content. Who was the first Predator you remember watching? So I remember the show, like, when I was in 7th grade, I was asked by my journalism teacher to do this like report on perverted justice. I remember, like, I guess she had just watched, or she had just learned about perverted justice, and she asked the class to write up a little like essay about it. So I've been familiar with the show like since I was in like 7th grade, but I didn't really get back into like the kind of the TCAP that we know now, like the YouTube content creation part of TCAP. I didn't really discover that until like 2015. And I think the first Predator in 2015 that I saw that was hilarious was Jeff Stacy. I couldn't even believe that dude was real. Like his voice, the ridiculous answers that he gives. It's a question. I mean, everything about Jeff Stacy was just like, I mean, when you see that interaction and when you understand it in its entire context, it's just, it's mind-boggling that this dude thought those answers would fly. It's funny. Are you her dad? Have you ever considered streaming on Twitch? Are you a gamer? I actually have a Twitch. I have a Twitch channel. I don't really stream on Twitch that often, but I have a Twitch. Maybe I'll do that more. Maybe I'll start streaming more on Twitch, because I've enjoyed doing it. It's a pretty fun time. And am I a gamer? Hell yeah, dude. I am a gamer. I've streamed, I think, Cuphead and Dead Cells on here, both of which are like pretty difficult games. Like they just require a lot of hand-eye coordination. I like that kind of shit. I like games that are challenging, like side-scrolling, whatever. But yeah, I like strategy games, first-person shooters. I love video games. Video games have been a huge part of my life. I'm pretty geeky and I'm pretty introverted, so video games have been one of the best ways that I can like have a really good time and also interact with other people. Like playing an online game and interacting with people, it's a really amazing experience. What's some of the content you watch/enjoy on YouTube? So he has a few questions. So this person, Spit on Me Please, has a few questions. That's an awesome name. That's hilarious. So what's some of the content that you watch and enjoy on YouTube? Just geeky stuff, basically. I really like listening to people talk, so like lectures, like stuff about movies, like analysis of like movies. One of my favorite channels is Roanoke Gaming, and the dude's like I think he has a biology degree, and he just goes into like the actual science of like video game shit. So he talks about like the Halo, like the flood from Halo, the parasitic organisms. He'll like go into like what it would actually be like if the flood from Halo were real, or like The Last of Us, like what it would actually be like if The Last of Us were real, and like how would that species propagate itself. I like when people do that, when people can give a little bit of information on a topic that's just intrinsically entertaining. I'd like to think that that's what I do on my channel, right? That I can export a little bit of the education that I've had and then apply it to something as hilarious as TCAP. I think it's a pretty good recipe for entertaining content. New to the channel and I love your content. Your commentaries are hilarious. Well, thank you. I'm a little late, but let's see. Are you in college? No, I just graduated. Are you Eddie? Yes. And then why is Stu high? Funny you ask that. So this is actually day 3 of sobriety. I know, that's crazy. Like, I've been smoking weed every day since 2018, and that's not an exaggeration. I've talked about this before. I have a pretty addictive personality. It's been pretty detrimental throughout my life, but you know, we make the best out of it. We play the hand that we're dealt. But as of like 3 days, I haven't smoked weed. I originally chose this avatar just because it was a funny picture and like Stu was high as fuck, and I was like, yes, like that's me, like that's the vibe that I'm at, like just being high as fuck, like smiling, smirking, like it's all good. I thought that captured kind of like the essence of what I was going for with this YouTube channel. But yeah, I'm completely sober right now, so I don't know, it's kind of crazy. And I stopped smoking weed so I could do better on the LSAT. I've talked about this before too. I'm trying to go to law school. Like, I'm trying to get into law school right now. So the thing that I'm studying for is the test that you have to take before a law school will even admit you. The law school admissions test. And it's really difficult. It's probably one of the most difficult things that I've ever done. I think actually it's not really that difficult to decide. Like, it is the most difficult thing that I've ever studied for. And yeah, I think that as great as weed is for creativity, like as many good times weed has given me, I don't think that it really helps focus in the way that I need my focus to increase. Oh, this fucking question. Be honest, which predator would you sleep with the most? I don't fucking know. Dude, that's like asking me what fucking nut I'd rather have removed. Like, I don't fucking know. There's just no answer. There's no answer to that. How do you feel about the decisions made by the younger 19 to 21-year-old predators like Richard Brialt, Eric Pallison, Vinny, I think you mean Ambrosio, Stephen Holt, etc.? Do you think they ruin their lives all for nothing at the end of it, even if they did deserve it? I think that it's unfortunate that they ruined their lives so early, but it's their own doing. So I don't really have sympathy for the Richard Brialts and the Vincent Ambrosios of the world. Like, if you weren't being a fucking scumbag piece of shit, then your life wouldn't have been ruined in the first place. So I think that it's probably less, I think just based on the age, it's less creepy than someone like Chuck Harding, who's like a fucking grandpa who does it. I think that adds an extra level of being disturbed just because of the huge age difference. But I still think that it's obviously improper and immoral for these 19 or 21-year-olds to do this shit too. Is this some kind of setup or something? Oh my god. So, and back to the question of what was the first predator that I remember. I remember the first predator that I showed my mom. Like, this was back in like 2016. I was visiting my mom and I was like, oh my god, you have to see this, mom, this is hilarious. And she kind of remembered the show too. But I showed her Michael Willis and like she cracked up. She was like it was hysterical for her. She was like, what? No way. It's kind of funny still too, because as I've said, like, I told my mom about my channel, and like, if she asks about it or something, like, she'll sometimes say that, like, she'll bring up that guy, she'll bring up Michael Willis and go, what? No way. Or she'll say, I'm just trying to get to the beach. Like, those lines were hilarious for her. It's fucking Michael Willis. I was so fucking high when I recorded that one. I get high as fuck. I've been high as fuck when I've recorded every video that I have on this channel, except Timothy Isaac. I don't know what it was, like, for the Timothy Isaac video that I made back in the day, like, I wanted to be sober. But other than that, I get extremely high. Like, I'm like blunted, like next level. And that's also why it's funny when like people come in the comments and are like, oh, you call this an analysis? This is nothing, like Jim can't swim. Like, dude, I'm a fucking guy getting super high in my room, like talking shit and editing it myself. Like some of these other channels are like professionals. They're teams of professionals who are editing and who are writing scripts and doing all this shit. I'm like, dude, I'm just like a guy getting high and talking shit. I just came to get something to eat. Oh, Kennelly would be another really good one to analyze. There's a lot to cover there. Will you ever do the naked predator, or the ones where they caught them at the beach, or the ones when more than one person show up, like the couple shows up, or the guy who shows up with the child? Keep up the good work. Yeah, so I'm open to doing more. As I said, it requires a little bit more time to make analysis videos now. Like, I don't really just like shit them out the way that I used to, where I just like get high and like give an uninformed opinion. Or I guess like this is not really something that I could have learned, but it's kind of funny. In my Jeff Sokol video, I made the mistake of assuming that Wicked Cool was like an inside joke between Jeff Sokol and Nelly, and like so many people in the comments were like, oh, you fucking idiot, Wicked is like, it's just an expression that they use, it's similar to hella. So I mean, I guess to avoid situations like that where it's just like I make an obvious blunder, I try to put in a little bit more research and a little bit more work before I even start recording. So yeah, it takes a little bit more research and a little bit more time and a little bit more energy for me to record, but I'd still love to record more predators. And there's so much out there, there's so much content. You know, I'd really like to record Michael Manzi or Gentile. We don't have the raw footage for all of the HVP dudes. Like we have Dupé, Buchanan, Velez, and Cologne. I think those are the only ones, and I've already analyzed like those ones. And I'm not sure how Crime Watch Daily would be with the copyright if I were to just like make the typical analysis video where I just press play and then give analysis like during. I don't know if they would flag my shit for that or what. But that would be a bummer if I did a bunch of research on this and then like my fucking video got taken down. She told me she was 18K. Are you gonna upload other content than TCAP? Not complaining. Yeah, funny you mentioned that. I have uploaded a few things that aren't TCAP. One of the things that I uploaded that I'm probably most proud of was, where is it? Oh, this is back in the day. It's a trip down memory lane. This Gran Turismo video, this one, yeah, so I made it like, let me check the date, I don't even know. January 19th, 2020. This was like the first time that I just wanted to see if I could make something that wasn't TCAP. Like if I could make a video that I was proud of that wasn't just me giving commentary on like what was already occurring. Like I did the research for it, I got the pictures and like wrote a script and like did all this stuff. It was really time consuming. It's kind of funny that like, I mean, it's done decent. Like, I mean, it's done pretty decent, but yeah, that video required way more work than pretty much any other video that I've done, and like it's obviously not. See, like the comparison between like these TCAP fucking bangers versus just like another video. So yeah, like I will do more stuff. There's more to life than TCAP. Like there's more that I can, and there's more that I like to talk about other than TCAP. It just depends. Shit, I don't even remember. Okay, so yeah. Oh, this is great. So 1 to 10, how stoned are you right now? I'm a 6. Hey, that's awesome. I think that when you first posted that, like I saw that, dude, and like that was right before I stopped smoking weed. So it's pretty funny that this dude posted this, because I remember I saw that, I was like, I'm probably like an 8. Like I remember thinking that when I saw it. But right now I'm a 0. It's pretty crazy too. The sober life is pretty wild. It was really difficult at first. I feel like I was like hella irritable. Like I was giving my girlfriend a lot of shit. But she was really cool. She like put up with me and was like helping me out. Oh, this is a great question from Eric Buchanan. What do you think of predator poacher groups on YouTube? Well, this is kind of a mixed bag, right? I think that what they're doing is fundamentally good. Like, their heart is in the right. Well, assuming that they're doing it just to make the world a better place, then their heart is in the right place. But if they're doing it just for views, then that's when it gets pretty questionable. I think that the lack of credibility that a lot of these groups have, it's a lot of power. It's a lot of power to just go on YouTube and like accuse someone of being a predator. By sticking to TCAP, it's pretty safe that if a person appears on TCAP, like, they're guilty. Regardless of what happens in a court of law, like David Schumacher, he's still fucking guilty. Michael Willis, Brian Gosling, regardless of these guys escaping a conviction, they're fucking guilty. Perverted Justice, Tetrad Core, these groups, like, for the most part, they do really good work. Other predator poacher groups, though, it's like, are they as stringent with the chatting? Like, are they entrapping the predator, or are they letting the predator reach out to them? You know, it's like there's just a lack of credibility, and we don't know. You know, we don't know whether the predator poaching groups are being transparent and are being honest. So I think that generally it's a good thing, but and I don't know too, there's also another issue of like whether certain police departments are even going to hear the cases. You know, if you're a detective and like some fucking dude just is like, hey, I'm a predator poacher online, it's like, is that admissible evidence? I think that it depends on the state and the city and other factors. So I don't know. I think the short answer is like, I think they're good for the most part. I think that's the short and safe answer. As long as they're not doing it like just for views. Do you have a degree? If so, what is it in? Or if so, what is it? Yes, I do. I have a bachelor's degree in communication studies, and my associate's degree is also in communication studies, which is directly applicable to these analysis videos, right? Like the kind of stuff that I was doing in undergrad, like interpersonal communication, these kind of basic psychology courses, like these are elements that are present within the interactions that Chris Hansen has. So I feel like having a communication degree has uniquely equipped me with some of the tools necessary to parse out these kind of analysis videos. What? No way. Oh, here we go. Here's the fucking question. What would you describe yourself as politically? Well, I voted for Biden. I wanted Andrew Yang to win. Like, dude, I was originally trying to get Andrew Yang. Like, that shit was so crazy. It's like, dude, the fucking freedom dividend. Like, there was no way that he was going to win, but like, that was the candidate who I was gonna like vote for. That was the person who I was like hoping would win, even though there's no chance. After that, I wanted Bernie to win. I think I would define myself loosely as a progressive, like as a leftist, as someone who privileges the lives of poor people more than rich people, like fundamentally. I'm non-interventionist. Like, I don't think that there should be American troops like killing people overseas. Like the occupations in the Middle East are pretty fucking needless. So yeah, those are probably like my core political values. And it's pretty crazy too. Like, I think that one of the reasons I was banned, I mean, it all kind of started when I was banned from fucking Temple of TCAP. I was like basically saying that the world's a better place without Rush Limbaugh. Like, I feel no remorse in like saying like fuck Rush Limbaugh, like regardless of if he's dead or not. Like, fuck that guy. And I think Tix, the moderator, thought that I wasn't showing, or the admin, he thought that I wasn't showing the appropriate amount of respect or something. He said that people in the thread that I was posting in were being too aggressive. And then to turn down the aggression, Tix came out of the fucking, he comes out of the gate and ambiguously posts that cocksuckers in the thread need to be less aggressive. So it's like, okay, dude, how the fuck is calling someone a cocksucker a way to decrease the aggression in a thread? I mean, it's a fucking joke. Like, it's a fucking joke. And I kind of knew it was a matter of time. Like, he'll post bullshit and then I'll refute it, and then he gets fucking butthurt. Instead of engaging with the ideas that I have, he'll just fucking ban me. So whatever, dude. I think it's kind of a bitch move, but I have respect for Tix. Like, for everything that he's done for the TCAP community, like, I do have respect for him in that element, but I don't think that I should have been banned. I think that was kind of fucking stupid. I know it was kind of a bitch move. If you could have the uncut of any predator to analyze, who would it be? Yeah, I think it'd probably be Michael Manzi or Gentile. Like, fuck, dude. If we could just see like the entirety of that without any editing, man, that would be awesome. I wonder how it'd be too if I analyzed Michael Manzi now that I don't blaze, right? Did you blaze? I'd be like, no, I did not blaze. Oh shit, what a crazy question. Favorite drug, Parker boy. That is a really good question. I think the drug I've used the most is marijuana. The first time I ever smoked weed, I was 12. I grew up in a house in which drug use was like kind of normal. My dad, when I was really young, like my dad I guess has to this day substance abuse issues, and I remember being really young and like seeing him like really fucked up, like seeing him under the influence of like alcohol and under the influence of like oxys and other shit. And it's like I saw how much fun he got from drugs, and like when I was really young I was like, okay, like drugs are fun, like getting really high, like stumbling and like slurring your words, like that's a sign of a good time. So I think from a really young age, like I just knew that I would try drugs. Like I knew that I had to try drugs for myself just because my dad made them look so fun when I was a really little kid. So yeah, I started smoking weed when I was 12. Did prescription pills in high school on and off. I've done pretty much everything except meth and heroin. For stimulants, like I did Adderall. So just like straight up amphetamine, like that shit was great. Adderall might be my favorite drug, even though it's one that I haven't really done that much. Like I only knew one dude. He was homeless in this old city I lived in, and like he would like sell me his fucking Adderall. And it was great. I would get so twacked out. I would just like crush up and like snort all these Adderall, and then I would get so fucking spun out, like I wouldn't be able to sleep. I'd have to like take a bunch of like Xanax just to calm down. I think the combination of getting spun the fuck out on amphetamines and then taking a benzo to just like come down from that jittery kind of nervous place, you just like come down into like a field of roses. It's like so calm. It's like and I don't know how that is like for the body or like for the mind. I think that it's probably a really it's probably a dangerously addictive combo. But yeah, I think that might have been my favorite drug combo. Might have been getting spun the fuck out on Adderall and then taking Xans to come down. But the drug I've used the most would be marijuana. Its availability, the fact that the withdrawals are unpleasant, but they're not horrible. Like I've also kind of been dependent on benzos, and that was a fucking nightmare. Stopping benzos when you've been taking them for weeks is really hard. I would not recommend that people take benzos every day. Like, I mean, if you're prescribed benzos, I think that you should just know what you're getting into, and you should just be really careful, regardless of whether they're prescribed to you or not. Like, it's really easy to get addicted to benzodiazepines. Like the kind of comfort that they just give you, it's like happiness in a pill. No matter what happens, you know, you get a divorce, like you wreck your car, like you could just get so scraped up on benzos that it's okay. And it's I don't know. I think it's just a lot for a person to have to consider. So yeah, favorite drug, man, fucking drugs, dude. Sobriety's pretty crazy too. I don't think that I'm at the point to where like my mood is just being regulated normally. Like I think I'm still probably like in a funk. Like I said, I've been smoking weed since I was 12. I'm in my early 30s right now, so for more than half of my life I've been smoking massive amounts of weed. Like I had a weed card back in like 2014 or whatever. I had a weed card back when they were like pretty new, and once I got a weed card, it was like next level. You know, just go to the dispensary, get like a fucking an ounce at a time. Like, so it's pretty crazy. Yeah, drugs, man, fucking drugs. It's a question. Oh, this is great. I love this. Oh my god, I saw this one last night. I was kind of reviewing these real quick. Are museums ethical? What a excellent question, right? Okay, so someone brought up debate earlier. So this is an example of like the kind of thinking that you'll get like from just being in speech and debate. So like when you say, are museums ethical, do you mean like, is a museum in London that has like Egyptian artifacts, like, is that ethical? Like, an argument could very easily be made that the cultural and historical artifacts from a specific country should remain in that specific country. You know, like Egyptian artifacts, like why are they being exported to New York or to fucking Germany or whatever? Just because there's more money to be made at that museum? Like, it would be really easy to make this argument that like those should belong to the Egyptian people. So I think that questions like this are great. I don't know if that's what you mean. Like, I think that it would be really cool to parse this out though in greater detail. Are museums are zoos ethical? At first I was like, does he mean zoos? One of the best rounds of a debate that I ever saw, the debate was it was on private prisons. So these two teams, I wasn't participating in this one, I was spectating it, and the debate was it was, this house will abolish private prisons. So one of the teams comes out and talks about getting rid of zoos, and like the other team, they weren't expecting a debate on zoos. Like they prepped for a debate on private prisons. Like the resolution that they were supposed to debate was private prisons, and then this team comes out and is like, well, technically zoos are private prisons. They're prisons that these animals are being kept in. So that was kind of awesome. I don't think I'll ever forget that. Yeah, there's a lot, man. That's a great question. I love that. I would love to find out like specifically what he meant too. When did you get into the TCAP community? Man, this is another good question too. Kind of a bummer that fucking Tix banned me. I joined the Temple of TCAP back in 2016. So I've been on Temple of TCAP since 2016, like around this time in 2016. It's, you know, something that I just discovered at a dark time in my life. I think that year was probably the worst year of my life. 2016 was kind of the year when I had a lot of problems. To this day, I live with tinnitus and vertigo. Tinnitus is a ringing noise, like, so I have a ringing noise in my left ear that never goes away. And that begun in 2016. Like, I was always in really good health my entire life, and then out of nowhere, like, I wake up and like I have this ringing noise in my ear and it never goes away. Like, it was maddening. And then after that, I started getting like dizzy spells where like I would just get dizzy. It was almost like I was like on a boat or something, only it would just occur for no reason. So I started getting these weird medical issues, and it was horrible. It was horrible for my psyche. I was like, am I fucking dying? Like, do I have a brain tumor? Like, I went and I actually got an MRI. I went to the hospital eventually. And yeah, so it was a really dark time. I kind of made peace with death too. Like, it's pretty morbid, but I was convinced that I was dying. Like, I was convinced that I had this terminal disease that was gonna take my life. And in the midst of that, so 2016, like in the midst of that, I rediscovered TCAP. And like when I would watch these episodes, like, it's so simple, but it's so true. Like, it made me feel better about my own life. And I think a lot of people can relate to that. Like, whenever you're having a bad day, like whenever something unpleasant has happened, if you watch Jeff Stacy get fucking railed by Chris Hansen, you'll feel better about your life, because no matter how bad you think you have it, at least you're not on TCAP. I think that the people who've been eviscerated and crucified for all of us to laugh at online, those guys have it fucking awful. I don't know what to say to those guys, right? I mean, if they're on TCAP, they can't really take pleasure from not being on TCAP. But I think for all of us, like, TCAP is just a great way to put gratitude into perspective and to help people feel better about their lives. I've talked to my brother a lot about that, about the idea of gratitude and how important it is. I try to be really grateful for everything in my life. I've had a lot of adversity, like as most of us have, but stuff like this, right? Stuff like this has allowed me to appreciate how good I have it. Like, even though I'll probably never experience silence again, right? This tinnitus, this noise that's inside of my ear, it'll probably never go away. But even though I've been robbed of silence, like at least I'm not on fucking you know, anyone in your life, like no matter how bad you have it, just watch TCAP and you'll fucking feel better about your life. So yeah, I think that 2016 was the year that I got into the TCAP community, and probably the biggest reason that I got into it was that it allowed me to appreciate my own life. And 2016 was a crazy time for TCAP. Like, I remember that was like back when the old school analysis dudes like Nathaniel Trevor and Zoe Mauve, and like that was back when Base Shaman was still doing TCAP videos too. And there were even other dudes like Ethan Griswold is another one. He was putting out analysis. I don't know what happened to him now. He's kind of like fallen off the radar. But Ethan Griswold, this was back when Ember Inferno was still on YouTube. Like, I use an Amy Winehouse song in my Joshua Cologne video, and it's funny, the first time I ever heard an Amy Winehouse song, it was a cover from Ember Inferno on Alonzo Hampton Wade. That would be really cool. If anyone has that that video, like, that would be awesome. I would love to have that emailed to me or something. But yeah, it was a different time. 2016 was a different time. Hey, awesome. Garland Wolf said, yeah, if you want me to answer your question, it's going to be a lot easier if you post it in this thread if you're in chat. There's a lot going on in chat. Oh, hey, C17 Kelly, I just looked at the chat for the first time in like days. Love that outlook. You are so positive and foul. Yeah, I get a lot of shit for my excessive use of profanity. It's kind of interesting that like so many people are triggered by my use of like fuck and shit and damn. Like, maybe it's because of my upbringing. I grew up in a house in which people like used profanity. Like I've had a bad mouth for my entire life, pretty much. From when I was really young. Like I remember getting in trouble when I was in like 5th grade or something for saying shit. Like, I've been swearing my entire life. And I also kind of think that it's nice to juxtapose the kind of serious academic, big wordy kind of stuff with like lowbrow fucks and shit. I think it's just like personally cool to be able to have that kind of range where you could like be serious and then like give analysis, but then also just like fucking tear into someone in like the only way that you can when you're really going all out, like saying like, fuck, this guy is a piece of shit. Like, that has a certain kind of power that I'm not sure can be harnessed without the use of expletives. This is another great question. Garland Wolf, which predator do you think deserves the longest sentence? Man, that's a great question. That might be one of the most that should be a debate, dude. That would be an excellent debate question, because I don't know. I think that there could be a really good debate that unfolds out of that. I'm inclined to say it'd be someone who had done this in the past, like not just someone who talked about it. Obviously, talking about it is criminal. Talking about it and showing up is criminal. But someone who had already been convicted of solicitation or molesting a minor, like someone like Kevin Westerbeck, or what is that other guy, Bodner, the kind of guys who had actually done it. You know, I think those ones are the ones who deserve the longest sentence, because obviously they didn't learn their lesson. Like, if these people get arrested and they serve prison for this crime, and then after they're released they do it again, they can't really use the excuse that they've learned their lesson. Like, they obviously didn't learn their lesson, because if they learned their lesson, they wouldn't have been caught up the second time. So I think that it'd probably be some fucker who'd already done this before. Do you know John Pedersen? Asking for a friend. I don't know John Pedersen. No, I do know a Mexican on the bus. I do know someone who knows that of me, though. And I know some flakes. JPW. JPW is probably up there with like the craziest predators. I think I mentioned Jeff Stacy when someone asked me like who's like a memorable predator. JPW, and Joey kind of expresses as much when he goes on Hansen, but JPW just doesn't fucking stop. Like, this dude is the Energizer Bunny of deceit. He just keeps going and going and going. And Chris gives him a lot of opportunities to just come clean. And he gives him a lot of opportunities to just admit that he's lying. And it's like, he doesn't stop. And then because the dialogue that he has with Chris is so long, like, he eventually, naturally, fucks up and then starts calling he begins by saying John Pedersen. Oh, I got a job from John Pedersen, and then he starts saying Scott Pedersen. So like this dude, not only is he a poor liar, he overestimates his ability to lie, and it makes the interaction with Chris like insane. It's just kind of like an insane interaction that he has. How are you coping with all these monsters on YouTube? I like your videos. I'm a new subscriber. Keep up the good work. Oh, thanks, dude. How am I coping with all these monsters on YouTube? I've kind of talked about this too in other videos. I don't think that the world is getting worse. I think that technology just allows us to broadcast how bad it's always been. I don't think that YouTube specifically allows people to be predators. Like, there have always been predators, but it's just that now, because of our smartphones and because of the interconnected nature of the internet, we'll just put someone on blast for being a piece of shit. I think that it's good that people get caught up. Anyone who does this deserves to be outed. Like, anyone who's talking with minors, anyone who's showing up to do this, like, they deserve to be put on blast. There was a content creator, what's his name? This dude, Joe Run Comedy. So this guy was a content creator who started making TCAP content kind of like last year, and he ended up getting outed, like liking pictures of like young girls, like young 13 or 12 or whatever girls on Instagram that were dressed up as genies, like harmlessly genie costumes. This guy had like a genie fetish, and he was like being a fucking pervert, and he rightfully, this is like a mock account for him. This is not Joe Run's original page, but he got outed, as he should have. This is exactly what he deserves, to be exposed for being a fucking scumbag. And this dude is so cringy. This is like the most cringe shit that I've ever seen. Oh man, every time I do that, I'm getting lost. Okay, hold on. Oh, so I'm getting kind of lost, but I guess, like, as I said, just post here and then hopefully I'll get to it. Can you do a follow-up on Lauren? Man, so I haven't covered Lauren kind of consciously. Like, there's so much about Lauren. I never personally saw like the interest of just Lauren. Like, I was always far more interested. If I had to pick, like, it would be JPW. Like, if there was a predator, I was just like, okay, this is the dude I'm gonna like go in on and like analyzing and examining. Like, it would be JPW, not Lauren. I think JPW's story makes him like way more epic than Lauren. I get that Lauren had this extra long chat and that he showed up on his birthday and that he was pathetic in his own right, but I don't know. I don't think that I would invest the amount of energy that'd be required to do a proper analysis of Lauren. Like, if I were to cover Lauren, I'd have to read the entire chat log. I'd have to go through the entire saga of him and Kayla's online discussion, and like, dude, that is a tall bill to fulfill. So I don't know. I mean, but maybe I will. I don't know. But Lauren, man, if you're unfamiliar with Lauren Armstrong, he is like one of the most memed predators. He might be the most memed predator that has ever appeared on To Catch a Predator, right? The Church of Cod. What's this? My question would be, would you ever meet Chris Hansen one day, or already did? Well, like on the street, like meet him and say what's up, I guess. Like, I don't know. Do you think the real reason TCAP got canceled was because they started getting to the higher ups, such as the district attorney who offed himself? Also, have you ever tried Mike's Hard Lemonade? And if so, what did it taste like? That's funny. Yeah, I've had Mike's Hard Lemonade. Like, I think most people have had. Well, now it's really popular, like those fucking White Claws, like seltzer drinks. But no, when I was in high school, like, of course, dude, like people drank Mike's Hard Lemonade. That was like a common beverage. And then, yes, you're talking about Louis Conrad, the district attorney who offed himself. That dude definitely played a role in the cancellation of TCAP. But I think it was because his sister sought like a fucking bajillion dollars in damages from NBC. I saw a clip where the sister claimed that NBC played judge, jury, and executioner, which is pretty funny because the guy committed suicide. Like, how the fuck could he have been executed by NBC? I mean, I get what she's saying. She's saying that NBC drove him to commit suicide, but that's bullshit. I think that obviously he himself made that decision. He could have lived as a sex offender. He could have lived, but he just didn't think that it was worth it. He didn't think that the kind of the just reward that he would get for him being such a piece of shit, he didn't think that that was something that he could accept, so he did what he was gonna do. He blew his brains out. So yeah, that dude definitely was part of the reason that the show was originally canceled. Although I guess it didn't really matter because fuck, it's back now. And hopefully it doesn't go away. I think that a world in which people were scared to be outed on To Catch a Predator, like, that's a good world. And I guess that goes back to the other dude who asked how I feel about predator poachers in general. Like, I guess, yeah, it's a good thing if predators are so scared that they don't meet minors and they don't show up. Like, obviously that will never happen because they're just, predators are going to be predators, but the more people that can be exposed for doing that, I think the better. Did the couch go up for sale yet? I got first. Is there a couch going up for sale? I don't even understand what that is. Yeah, I don't know what the hell this dude's talking about. What do you think of the Predator Chronicles? Oh, dude, Predator Chronicles are fucking epic. Mr. Gigi, it's kind of funny that Mr. Gigi, he doesn't even do TCAP content anymore. I think that like all the Predator Chronicles, he moved to a different channel, like Mr. G Dubs, probably just because he wanted to put distance between the work that he's doing now, which is kind of like above water movie review kind of stuff. He wanted to put distance between that and TCAP, and I get it. As a TCAP content creator, I get it. Like, anything that I post, like my comment section, anything that I post that's TCAP, and even if I post it as Fast Eddie, and even if it's not TCAP, like the comment section is gonna be like filled with like, I'm a sick son of a bitch, and like all these did you bring KY and lube? Like, people are gonna post hella predator quotes and all other bullshit. Like, I could see why Mr. Gigi made a separate channel for the Predator Chronicles, just because he doesn't want to be associated with TCAP in the same way that he used to be. But no, the Predator Chronicles are great. They were really popular. I think it's really cool that allowed for a larger audience to discover TCAP content creation. Like, even the stuff that I do is definitely not for everyone. Like, there's going to be a lot of people who are just like totally fucking bored, who's just like, okay, fuck this dude just talking. But Mr. Gigi's videos were like quick and they were flashy and like they had all kinds of like cool editing. Like, they were a lot more they were probably a lot more in tune with like contemporary taste for just popular media, where it's like a lot, it's almost like TikTok, where there's like a lot going on and it's like a lot to keep people's attention. My videos are not really like that. They're more of like me just like going in like in specific detail, and it's just a different animal. Do you feel that the potential preds captured are too inept to actually harm a child IRL? Very few display actual grooming behavior and unironically think bringing up their junk to a 13-year-old will get them laid. I disagree. Very few display actual grooming behavior. I think that everyone on To Catch a Predator, or everyone who's been ensnared by perverted justice or tetrad core, they only are exposed if they demonstrate grooming behavior. Like, I don't really understand where this comment I guess it's kind of funny that Delusional Moron posted without really attacking this dude. Like, I don't get what the hell he's talking about. I think that anyone who talks about it for moral and criminal purposes should probably be charged with it. Especially if they make any attempt to actually show up, and especially if they show up. Like, the dudes who are charged with To Catch a Predator, they're not charged with rape or molestation. They're charged with soliciting. And that's a separate charge with a different set of sufficient conditions. So the sufficient condition to be charged with solicitation of a minor all it is talking about meeting up with a minor for sex and then making an attempt to meet up, like leaving your house, getting in your car, knocking on the door. Like those are the things that will get a person caught up for solicitation. You don't have to commit the act. You don't have to actually commit the felony. You just have to make an attempt to complete the act. But I think that anyone who gets caught up on To Catch a Predator, like they've made sufficient acts to be charged with the crimes that they're charged with. Which makes it all the more crazy that these fucking dudes like Brian Gosling and Michael Willis and David Schumacher are able to beat the charges. I guess that just goes to show that defense attorneys really matter. You know, this isn't a question that was asked here, but it's just a really good question that I saw that someone else asked. They asked me if, when I'm a lawyer, if I would defend a predator. And I was like, fuck. I always thought that I would be a defense attorney, probably a public defender. I just couldn't really see myself as a prosecutor. Like I do I mean, I don't do drugs now, but like I don't think I'd be able to live with myself like if I was prosecuting people for drugs. Like I think that the hypocrisy of that, of me locking people up in jail for like drug offenses, I just could never see that. But at the same time, like I would be disgusted to have to defend a predator. It makes me not want to be a defense attorney. I wish that I could be a defense attorney that would only defend innocent people. Like, obviously, that's not how it works. And that's kind of just the unfortunate nature of the world. Like, in a court of law, there's two sides to a story. It's not as simple. It's not as black and white as TCAP. TCAP is simple. It's like if the person is on TCAP, they're guilty. Like you don't have to worry about, well, maybe the evidence was tainted. Like maybe perverted justice is framing an innocent man. Like no, like perverted justice, tetrad core, like these groups only go after people who've actually done the crimes. And it makes it so simple to say this dude's a predator. Like this dude is someone who genuinely expressed intent to solicit a minor and then who genuinely made an effort to commit that act. It's very simple. But in a real court of law, it's like, how do you know? Innocent people are charged all the time. And it's complicated. It's just complicated. So I don't know. It makes me not even want to do criminal defense, you know? I was really inspired by Saul Goodman, the lawyer from Breaking Bad. I was like, I remember when I first started watching that show, both Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul, like I just loved it. I loved that Saul Goodman was able to talk his way out of all these problems and to like win all these crazy cases and like defeat the cops. Like I loved it. I've been jammed up by cops and I've had to fucking talk my way out of like drug charges and other bullshit. Like I've had some crazy shit that I've talked my way out of. And I don't know. Like they don't go into that in Better Call Saul just because that's like the really morally ambiguous stuff, and it doesn't make people like feel as good as when like a defense attorney, like when Saul Goodman bails one of Walt's fucking like dudes out of prison, like it's like yes, like it's something that we want to see. But a predator, like no, that's not good, or no one would like that. So I don't know. What's your favorite cereal? Cinnamon Toast Crunch. That's a really good one. I don't know if I would say that it's my favorite, but I think that Cinnamon Toast Crunch is definitely up there. Man, here's a pretty horrible story. I bought some. It was like some organic Cinnamon Toast Crunch. It wasn't the actual Cinnamon Toast Crunch. It was like some like healthy Cinnamon Toast Crunch bullshit. And this is pretty gross. But there were roaches in my house. Like I don't have roaches anymore. We like finally got on the exterminator to like get rid of him, but for a while I was kind of just being like a slob and like a lazy ass, and like there were roaches like all over the apartment. It was fucking horrible. And one of the times I was eating Cinnamon Toast Crunch, I was just eating the dry cereal from the box, and I was on my computer. I wasn't even looking. I was just like getting a handful, putting it in my mouth. One of the handfuls, I stuck my hand in, I put it in my mouth, I start chewing, and then I taste something soft, and I was like, oh no, and I spit it out, and there was a fucking huge roach that was in my mouth. It was horrible. And I don't know if the roach like went in there. I mean, I'm like 99% sure that the roach like crawled into the bag when it was already open, but I can't bring myself to eat that cereal anymore. Like on the slim chance that the roach was actually in there before he arrived at my house, like I just can't do it. So it kind of sucks that Cinnamon Toast Crunch is like effectively ruined for me. Dude, when you have a fucking a mouthful of cereal and you detect a roach in there too, when you spit up a roach, it's a pretty horrifying and traumatic experience. It leaves a metaphorical and a literal bad taste in your mouth. Oh, what's this? 5-star? Hey, thanks, bro. Are these home baked? Oh, that's funny. So that's all the questions for here. Let me check chat. I'll try to go through some of the questions. I'm sorry, I haven't really looked at chat like at all. I'll just go through and see if I could find some good questions. Serial PTSD, dude, exactly. It was pretty horrible. Let's see. Oh wow, okay, sing to me. Yeah, Eddie, I think you might be oversharing some stuff. You know, I don't really, maybe it's obvious, like I didn't make this channel to like get subs, and I didn't make this channel to like be popular. I mean, I basically just keep it real. I say whatever the hell I want. Like, dude, people have got so pissed that I've gotten even vaguely political, that like I've said critical things of Trump, and like, dude, people have gotten so mad. Like my some of my most disliked videos, like they're stuff that I make that I mention political facts in. Even my what is it, my Robert Lyons video, I go off at the end on like the amount of minorities who are accused of crimes and who are exonerated from DNA evidence, and like dudes get hella pissed and are just like, what are you talking about? You're indoctrinated by liberal media. It's kind of crazy. So yeah, let's see. Oh, that's good. Someone asked what got me into making videos. I think it was that I was studying communication. I started making videos like 2019 or whatever, whenever I made this channel. I was like learning about communication in class, and like TCAP analysis videos have been around for a while. It would be really good to know like who was the first content creator who started making TCAP analysis videos. Like, was it Nathaniel? I'm inclined to say it was Nathaniel Trevor back in the day. Zoe Mauve is another one. He's been making TCAP analysis videos since like 2015. But this is like, you know, human communication is what I spent my time in class learning, like learning the ways that people communicate, and like the kind of models that we use to describe communication, like stuff like the Johari window or Knapp's relational stages. I thought about integrating some of like the theoretical stuff and some of the models that we use in communication into my videos. Maybe I'll do that, but I thought that I could bring a little bit of my education and integrate it with TCAP in a way that other people hadn't, and it just inspired me to do it. Like, I didn't really do that at first. Some of my earliest videos, like, they're basically just like shit posts, like I'm just going on and on and on. But I don't know. I was just motivated to try it. And then, as I said, like, I've been in debate and I've been in speech, and like, it's funny, public speaking is there. So like, this is something that I've done for a while. Like, I'm pretty used to talking and to debating specifically. Man, speaking of debating, I made so many political posts. It kind of sucks. I made so many political posts in Temple of TCAP. Like, that was one of my favorite things. I really liked that everything that we post on Temple of TCAP, like it remains up. So like, I would spend time like typing out these like long arguments, like highlighting why I think Trump is like bullshitting people, or like highlighting like the problems in rhetoric in specific instances. And like, people didn't like it. It's kind of funny. People don't like it. I love debating. I think that debating is great, and I don't really get that pissed. I think some people get really fucking pissed. But as I said, like, I traveled the state of Cal, like a few years ago, like it was my job to be a debater. Like, that was like my life. Like, I traveled the state, going to different universities and just arguing with people for hours. Like, for hours and hours, and I loved it. I had a great time. I have very fond memories of arguing with people, and then like we would have these like intense political debates and these intellectual discussions, and then once the round was over, we'd like hang out afterwards. It was pretty cool. I liked the multiplicity of it, you know, and I liked the multiplicity of like me being this fucking like druggie who's just like kind of been a fuck up like my whole life, and now I can like, you know, play the academic and like I can like wear nice clothes and go argue with people. And little do they know like all the crazy shit that I've done and all the crazy situations I've been in. A lot of the people I debated with came from privileged backgrounds and were just like totally, they were just in a different level, you know, like people who would be wearing I remember this one guy in a debate round, he brought it up to bring up his own privilege, but he specifically mentioned that the suit he was wearing cost $7,000. And I remember hearing that and I was like, holy shit, like I'm debating this guy, and like I went to fucking like Kohl's or Walmart or something and like got some shitty dress clothes like just for the tournament, and like I'm debating people who have the kind of resources to just spend 7,000 fucking dollars on a suit. Pretty crazy. But hey, it made it really fucking satisfying when I was able to hang and then outperform some of those people. Oh, here's a good one. Genesis Insanity just posted, what are your thoughts on Andrew Cuomo killing 15,000 people? So this is a really interesting thing to say. So you're blaming Andrew Cuomo specifically for killing 15,000 people? Like, why blame just Cuomo? What role would overall policies of the United States play in that? Like, I know that Andrew Cuomo specifically fudged the amount of people who died. Like, Andrew Cuomo is certainly guilty of criminal misdoing, but I think that to just blame Andrew Cuomo for deaths for COVID, like really, you're gonna cite numbers? Trump was the president when COVID-19 became a fucking pandemic, and you're gonna cite Andrew Cuomo. You're not gonna cite Trump claiming in April that the virus would be gone by November. You're not gonna say that. You're just gonna say fucking Andrew Cuomo. It's kind of funny. And politics can be ugly, man. Like I get it. People get pretty heated. But I don't really get heated. I guess another reason too is like I'm not really an ideologue. Like I don't get like offended or triggered if someone has like a crazy belief. One of the dudes that I had in a math class with, his brother was a nationally recognized figure in the identitarian. I don't want to say which specific group, but my friend's older brother was friends with Richard Spencer. I'll just say that. And I remember like talking to him about it, and like I wanted to interview the dude. Like I was fascinated. Like my friend's older brother had been on TV like advocating for like white separatists and like saying that white genocide was real and like all this kind of crazy stuff, and like I wasn't offended. I was like, oh, that's awesome, dude. Like I would love to talk to this guy and kind of like understand like why he formed these opinions and what led him to make these conclusions. I think that the way to defeat an idea is not to suppress it, but to engage it. And that's probably the only way that you could defeat an idea, because if you suppress an idea, you kind of just make it more powerful. And here's kind of a hot take. Like I wasn't even sure how to feel about Trump being banned from Twitter. I'm kind of worried that I'm gonna get fucking banned from YouTube. I'm not looking forward to the reckoning that's probably going to occur when some predator, when some other person like reports. I've been reported by people who like claim that I'm harassing or whatever, and I haven't had my shit deleted yet, but I'm really hoping that that doesn't happen. I guess follow me on Twitter or Twitch or something if you want to make sure that you can still keep up if and when YouTube finally deletes my channel. What about his sexual assault? Yeah, dude, as I said, Andrew Cuomo's pretty scummy, and he probably did the sexual assault accusations. If he's getting all these accusations, he's probably guilty of them. No, it was not the Proud Boys. Although, I actually knew someone who used to be a Proud Boy. The dude was of Jewish ancestry, and I remember he told me he left when it got. He said that his local chapter. I met him at college. He lived in the same dorms that I did, and where he lived before, he said that the chapter became too anti-Semitic, the Proud Boys, and that he no longer felt like it was worth it. Fast Eddie is not even close to being banned. Well, I mean, like banned from where? Like I did get banned from Temple of TCAP because fucking Tix doesn't like criticism. And yeah, oh, so here I actually have the specific there's a shout box on Temple of TCAP. Let me take a drink of water. I'll actually read to you the official fucking post from Tix regarding my banning. Hold on. As of today, and I'll read it as improper as he said it. There's some grammatical mistakes. As of today, Fast Eddie profile has been banned, both for being quarrelsome and for feeding the troll. We'll have to go back to banning after first warning to clean up the whining and lay down a few ground rules. How fucking hilarious. The quarrelsome charge, Tix just didn't like that I disagreed with him and he fucking banned me. And I think it's kind of a lame approach to moderating a forum, and it's kind of a lame approach to even running a YouTube channel. It's kind of a lame approach to life to just silence people who criticize you. But I guess he can do whatever the fuck he wants to do. On my channel, I don't delete comments. Like I don't, as I've said, I've deleted a few comments. I've deleted people who one person claimed to be a pedo and they claimed that no one would ever catch them. Like fuck that guy. Like I'm not even gonna engage with that. So I deleted that guy. But if anyone just like tells me to shut up or like calls me stupid or whatever, like I don't fucking delete it. I kind of like it when people talk shit. If you look at my videos, like you'll see that like I'm totally down to engage with people who talk shit. I think I fucking pinned this dude. If I can even find it. Yeah, for instance, this fucking guy who just talks shit. I think it's funny when people talk shit. I love it. I think it keeps it interesting. What is this guy? Some people say some pretty crazy stuff. But yeah, I guess Tix doesn't agree. Tix doesn't have that kind of he doesn't have that level of confidence to be able to just accept a criticism and move on with his life. He opts to just silence the person. Tix said Tix was posting some political shit, and I think Tix made the comparison that Rush Limbaugh was on the same level as Anderson Cooper, and I was like, dude, are you fucking kidding me? Anderson Cooper is boring mainstream media, boring and predictable. Rush Limbaugh is like a provocateur. Like Rush Limbaugh said that feminism, I think Rush Limbaugh said that the entire point of feminism was so ugly women could like infiltrate society or something. Like Rush Limbaugh was a troll. I mean, he was successful in riling people up, but he was a fucking troll. Anderson Cooper is just like a straight-laced predictable mainstream media host. And he didn't like that. Tix didn't like that. He didn't like the refutation that I offered. And then on the second charge that I was feeding the troll, pretty funny that Tix is going to claim that the reason I was banned, one of the reasons I was banned was for feeding a troll, because that occurred like over a week ago. And when it occurred, Tix didn't say anything. Like there was a troll who was doing racist shitposts in Temple of TCAP, and I was like talking, I was trying to get information from the troll because the troll also had something out for a different member. And I was like, dude, why do you have it out for this other member? Like, who the fuck are you? And Tix didn't say anything. I didn't get a warning. Tix didn't say shit. But then a week after the fact, he cites that as being one of the reasons why I'm kicked off, even though no one said anything about it while it happened. But oh, whatever, dude. I think Tix just realized that it would have been it would have looked pretty bad if he just would have banned me because I was like disagreeing with him. And it's pretty funny that Jeff says here, I was asking questions. Tix didn't even give me a warning. Tix vaguely said, cocksuckers in this thread need to be nice, like there's too much aggression here. And then I asked Tix, I was like, hey, are you talking to me? And then he was like, I'm talking to anyone who's not been respectful. Way to fucking avoid the answer. He entirely avoided the answer. So that was pretty funny. Kind of disappointing too. Kind of disappointed that Tix doesn't have the ability to handle criticism. Someone posted too, like, what is up with TCAP content creators and not being able to handle criticism? Hey, Sunbuns, what's up, dude? No, I didn't miss it. Hey, Sunbuns is an awesome gaming channel. Dude, your those GTA videos you got are hilarious. I love it. I love it. Dude, please keep making those. Those are awesome. You're like cracking us up with those. Oh wow, twerk it 100K. That's pretty funny. Twerk it 100K. I don't know, man. My girlfriend might be kind of pissed. My girlfriend might be a little annoyed. Tix is always aware of the trolling. He will let it go for a time to gather information, whatever that may be. Right. So whereas Tix may have been silently watching the trolling just to gain information, I was actively asking questions to the troll to gain informations, and I was getting answers. Like, I'm not going to repeat them because they were kind of like doxy answers, but I was still trying to figure out like what made this dude tick, like what was his motivation. And as I said, Tix didn't say a fucking word. Tix, he claims that I was feeding a troll, and that's one of the reasons I was banned, even though when I was doing it, he didn't say shit. So that's pretty fucking lame. It's pretty lame if you're going to watch someone do something and not say a word, and then fucking ban them a week after the fact, and then claim that it's for that. Like, whatever, dude. Oh, CN, Deb, me too. You're talking about Tall Dreamy Historian. Yeah, I really appreciate Tall Dreamy Historian. See, like, there's some posts that I'll miss. There's some posters too that I'll miss talking to on Temple of TCAP. It's kind of crazy. Like, Temple of TCAP, I think, fosters more of a community than other sites. Like, I remember the Church of COD. I didn't really go in the Church of COD that much, but Temple of TCAP, people get pretty personal, and they kind of just like open up about their lives and like personal stuff. And I've read a lot of posts by Tall Dreamy Historian, and I hope that things are good too. I know that he deleted his profile. No, that and then is the profile of Tix really him, the muscle guy with the mask? That's absolutely not Tix. That is not Tix. I remember Tix saying somewhere that he saw that people take serious profile, or people take pictures more seriously if it's like a person or something. I don't know why Tix felt the need to put that as his profile, but that's not fucking Tix. Tix is probably just some fucking dude. Creepiest profile pic on Temple TCAP. I know, it's like Chernobyl status. Oh wow, so dear Fred, I wouldn't recommend doing shrooms. It can be very dangerous if you don't react good to them. Um, Shrooms is kind of a. You're right. Like, I remember one of my friends had a grandfather with schizophrenia, and he was really worried. This is the time when I was experimenting with I did psychedelics too. I've done mushrooms like 5 or 6 times. I did acid once. Like, I was about psychedelics too. And I remember like one of my friends, he was really worried that he would have an adverse reaction to it because of his grandfather's schizophrenia. And that can kind of plant a seed of doubt. Like, even if he didn't have a specifically bad reaction because of the schizophrenia, I think that the dude's mindset going into it was so fearful and was so full of anxiety that he probably wouldn't have had a good time. Like, a person should only do shrooms, like a person should only do psychedelics if they're ready to take the trip. Like, you have to understand that when you eat these mushrooms, like when you put that blotter on your tongue, like there's no going back. It's like Hunter S. Thompson said, like, you buy the ticket and you take the ride. And once you're in that ride, like, you don't fucking stop. You could make yourself yak, you could make yourself shit. Like, you're gonna trip though, and that's just the fucking facts. So, like, unless a person is prepared to really deal with the implications of their actions, meaning introspection, crazy shit visually, like, there's a lot that you have to accept that's going to accompany your trip. Like, it's not just the visuals, and it's not just the kind of thoughts. Like, it's a whole experience. I think the shrooms are great. I don't know if I wouldn't do shrooms now. I think that I take bupropion, which is an antidepressant. I don't know how that would react with the shrooms. Like, I don't know how psychedelics would mix with the antidepressant that I take, but I don't regret doing shrooms. I'm really glad. I've had some crazy fucking experiences on shrooms. I was in a fucking car accident on mushrooms. My friends and I, we took mushrooms, and the idea was to take mushrooms in our city, drive to a neighboring city, and then by the time we got there, we'd be tripping. Like, it seemed simple enough, right? My friend and I, we both take them. I had a little bit of weed on me too, of course. And while we're on our way there, he's in his he's driving. It's a convertible. He's looking down at his fucking flip phone. This was back in the mid 2000s. He's texting on his flip phone, not looking at the road. All of a sudden, veers off the road. And then we end up in a fucking embankment. Like, he simply was not paying attention and he veered off the road. And it ended up totaling his car. And then the fucking cops show up. And then as soon as the cops show up is when the fucking mushrooms start to kick in. It's the kind of crazy shit that, like, it's unreal. And it doesn't even sound believable. Like, I'm so glad that it was with him because, like, only him and I were the ones who could corroborate it. Like, dude, this really happened. But as soon as the cops showed up, we said that we were ran off the road by a black SUV. Like, I guess I don't know whose idea that even was. Like things started getting weird as soon as we wrecked. Like, obviously the experience was a jarring experience. Like, when you're in a car wreck, we were both fine physically. His car was fucked up, but we were both fine. The car didn't flip or anything. But like, once the cops showed up, it was pretty bad. We just said that we were ran off the road, and then, like, when the tow truck finally showed up, like, when that door closed and we were both in the tow truck, it was just like home free. Like, it was so fucking chill. It was, we wanted to start talking about it, like, in the car with the tow truck driver, but we had to wait. That was a pretty good time though. We ended the day drinking Jones soda in a hot tub. It was pretty cool. But yeah, that's the thing. When you're on drugs, like, life still happens. That's something you have to remember when you take psychedelics. Like, the world doesn't fucking cater to your fragile psychological state. When you're on drugs, like, dude, shit still happens. A person could have a heart attack. A person could have a stroke. You could be the victim of a violent crime. Like, you could be on fucking mushrooms, like, frying your balls off, and, like, that could be coincidentally the one time that someone, like, does an armed robbery on your house. And, like, holy fuck, like, you have to make sure that you're prepared psychologically, physically. You have to make sure that you're ready for the entirety of the experience, because you're really signing up for a lot. I just try to help people because shrooms get so hyped on the internet as if they are a cure, which they can be, but they're doing. Yeah, I don't have any experience with microdosing. I don't know. Some people. So the amount of mushrooms that a person would normally take to experience it would be like a half eighth or an eighth. Like, I took eighths. I think I took a half eighth the first time, but an eighth, which is 3.5 grams of mushrooms, and then a half eighth, which is 1.7. So those are like standard dose. A person could take more. You could take a quarter ounce, which is 7 grams, and then, like, hella Brip Talls. But some people are advocates of this idea of microdosing, where you take, like, a tiny amount, like, I don't know, 0.1 or whatever of a gram of mushrooms, and then you just, like, eat one of those every day. I've never done that. I don't know if I, like, would recommend people do that, but I think it's cool that some people have. I think that it's interesting to discover. But yeah, I don't think that mushrooms are a cure-all either. Yeah, so yeah, microdosing is taking a small amount of a hallucinogen, like a micro amount of a hallucinogen consistently. Some people claim that it, can alleviate depression or can increase their mental clarity or whatever, but I've never done it. I'm a little apprehensive about doing, as I said, I mean, I'm on an antidepressant now, so I'm probably not gonna do that. Although I've had no problem pumping amphetamines and opiates and benzos into my fucking brain. I don't think they fucked me up that bad too. I don't think that that's crazy. I think back of, like, all the times I've been super, super high, just, like, fucking fucked up. Man. I don't know. I'm hoping too that there's no lasting damage. Obviously, it's not like I can go back to a time when I didn't do drugs. Like, sometimes I trip out on what my life would have been like if I never would have done drugs, if I never would have gotten high, no weed, nothing, like if I would have lived like a fucking Mormon lifestyle. I don't even know, man. It's so far from the reality. It's, like, impossible to even envision, like, just because the life that I've lived, it was so full of intoxicants of all kinds. Like, Oh man, excellent question. Thank you, Alejandro Sanchez. Have you ever tried kratom? Yes. I actually got my dad on kratom. As I said, he like still is dependent on opiates, and I was like, dude, when you run out of your meds, like when you take all your meds in 2 weeks and you have to get withdrawal for 2 weeks, like here, take this. Kratom's great. Kratom, he says that because he has like a bad back. I don't really live with chronic pain, but my dad, who has chronic pain, he swears by kratom and says that it's one of the only things besides opiates that can help him. Yeah, I experimented with kratom just to try it once. Like I was like I was just big on experimenting with drugs. Like another one is dextromethorphan, which is cough syrup, the active ingredient, and like Robitussin. It's people also refer to it as robotrippin. I did that when I was young. I actually extracted dextromethorphan using roncinol, lemon juice, and like ammonia. I did a chemical extraction and extracted the active ingredient in Robitussin, and then my friend and I got fucked up on it. So I was really into just trying drugs just for the science of it. Oh, another really interesting one. Let me see, is atezolam. So this is a thienotriazolodiazepine. Atezolam is like, it's not illegal in the United States, but it's also not legal. It's kind of in this weird category where it's not even acknowledged by the government. Like the FDA has not properly acknowledged atezolam. So I bought 100 milligrams of atezolam like last year from fucking Thailand, and I took them. It's basically comparable to Xanax, at least for me. Like 1 milligram atezolam is basically like 1 milligram of Xanax. But yeah, like dude, it's technically a research chemical. Like I bought it as a research chemical. I bought it from this website too, Atezolab. Yeah, this is the website. A thienodiazepine. So I mean, I've my whole life, like I said, like I've just been curious. Like Dan Allen said, I'm just curious. Like I've been really curious about drugs. What is it, like a psychonaut? I think that's like one of the terms that people use. This is the one that I got, Edelam. But this shit's crazy. It's like basically yeah, for $75 you can buy 100 milligrams of atezolam. You buy 100 different 1 milligram pills, and yeah, it was great. It was great. It's basically like Xanax. Like if you take enough of them, like it's like taking a lot of Xanax. Like you could overdose. You shouldn't overdo it with these, but if you have the kind of curious mind that I do, yeah, there's something that is available. I mean, not like technically available. Like you have to go through the internet and get it. Like I've never even seen it offered in real life anywhere, but kind of crazy. I've just always been the kind of person who was like, I wonder what that drug does. Like I wonder what it's like to be under that drug's influence. Kind of crazy too. I think it's just there's an element of self-destruction too. Probably fueled by depression. I don't know. That's kind of dark and negative, but yeah, it is what it is. Oh yeah, do you ever do Valium? Dude, I had a guy who I would buy 100 Valium at a time for $100. Yeah, Valium was the benzo that I did the most. Like before I started doing other stuff, like I think the first benzo that I was pretty hooked on benzos, and like I got hooked on benzos through taking huge amounts of Valium. They were 5 milligram pills though. The dosage is different. The dosage is different. Valium takes a lot more for a person to feel it, and it also stays in your body for a lot longer. All right, my voice is getting kind of tired. I think I'm gonna end the stream soon. Oh, these are funny. I just got here and was diagnosed with ADHD on Friday. Hey, did they give you Ritalin or Concerta or something? What did they give you for it? Or did they just tell you have ADHD and then tell you to fucking like use a fidget spinner or something? There's a ton of gray area drugs, too long to list. Exactly, man. There's also another really good book that I have called Pihkal, what is it? I think it's, yeah, phenylethylamines. Phenylethylamines I have known and loved. This is basically a drug cookbook too. Like this book, it has pages and pages and pages. Like the first part of the book are basically excerpts of him and his wife like recounting experiences that they've had while on drugs and talking about the processes involved in like the experiences of taking the drugs. And then the second half of the book is like a fucking, it's just a drug cookbook. I got really into chemistry, obviously, but I got, yeah, really into chemistry. And like it's just so crazy. Like it's so awesome that we live in this world where there's all these different chemical compounds that affect the human mind in all these different ways. Like it's one of the beauties and wonders of the world. I think it's just fascinating. The human brain is fascinating. I read some crazy shit about the brain last night. Like it's so wild that there's just all these different chemical compounds that can affect our brains like in different ways. You know, that you could take this pill and that from taking a pill all these experiences can happen subjectively in your mind. Like it's fucking awesome. Oh man, they gave me Adderall. I used to take it to get through college. It was great. Dude, I was yeah, I did it in college a lot too. Like it was pretty awesome. So yeah, this is probably it. My throat is getting like really dry right now. Thank you everyone for showing up. If there's more questions that you guys have like or whatever, just post them. Like I said too, you can reach me, like you could email me at genericbrownmail@gmail.com. You could just hit me up on Twitter or Twitch or whatever, but you obviously can't, you ain't gonna find me on Temple of TCAP since I got fucking banned for nothing, since Tix's ass fucking didn't like me arguing with him. But yeah, just let me know. I love hearing from everyone and I love getting thoughts on what you guys think. So thank you to everyone who decided to stop by the stream.